Good day and welcome to another edition of Outside of Genie, where we will be looking at two race meetings in this video. The first one is from Kenilworth and the second one is from TURFFONTEIN. I'm doing the Kenilworth one first because I want to save the pudding for last, because the race meeting today from TURFFONTEIN is really quality horses. I'm looking forward to see those races. Most of the races is competitive. And believe it or not, there's not one single maiden plate on that card, which makes really for good racing. I'm really looking forward to it. So let's just kick off with the first race. Before I kick off with the first race, I just want to remind you guys that the next weekend is the Sun Met, another meeting that I'm looking forward to every year. Although a small field, I do believe it is a quality field with most of the best horses in South Africa racing. Just keep in mind that on that meeting, my preview, my video preview and my selections on that meeting will only be for my subscribers. So if you're not subscribed yet, you can now subscribe for 200 Rand, which would include the meeting, the rest of the week, plus the weekend meeting, or you can just subscribe just for the weekend meeting for 150 Rand. But I mean, for 50 Rand extra, you will also get my selections for this week. So should you be interested in obtaining my selections and preview for that race day, and please keep in mind that I in the past I have been hugely successful in giving quality tips on big race days. So I'm sure you will get value for your money. So contact us on 083 585 5133. I repeat, 083 585 5133. So let's get on with the business of the day. The first race from Kenilworth. Let's have a look at the betting. Oh my goodness, I've just checked this multiple times to make sure that it is working. All lined up. Here we go again. It really frustrates me. Okay, the betting is as follows. Race 1, number 8, Lithgow, 17 to 20. Arundel, 5 to 2. 9 to 1, Chelsea River. 14 to 1, Casa Rosada. Regards to all, 14 to 1. 18 to 1, Fly to Rio. Broadwalk Empire, 18 to 1. 22 to 1, Real Joy. And 35 to 1, Host of Angels. So when we look at this field, it is unfortunately not a very strong field. A lot of horses doesn't have a lot of form, and if we can just get this computer to work, it will be so nice. There we go. All right, so let's scroll down to number 8. Hopefully that is not going to be another mission. Guys, I am saving up for a new computer, believe me. I really am. If you want to make a contribution towards a new computer, please feel free. Because, okay, the favorite here is number 8, which we have now scrolled past again. All right, just a second. All right, the favorite number 8, Little Doe. Here we are. It's a Silvano by Western Wintermere, really well bred. I actually even reckon the 1200 meters might be too short for this horse, but it has run 2 good races against Arc Lamb and Oh What a Night. And you can see as his late run clear second. The only thing that really is a little bit of a concern for me is over this distance, running a 400 to finish in 26 and 27 seconds. That is not too fast. And that really concerns me in terms of what quality field was that, because you're looking for a horse that is going to run at 24 seconds, or maybe a little bit lower, or maybe 24.2, 24.3. But 26.5 and 27 really concerns me a bit. And although I do have it as my winner, I won't be rushing to take the 17 to 20. That I can assure you. Um, my outsider selections is number 1, Fly to Rio. This horse has had a few runs and hasn't finished too far back here. You got 2 lengths behind my black, River Cafe, Renan, and so forth, always there and thereabouts. And if you want to, if we have a quick look here you'll see that this horse has run 22.9, 23, 22.1, which is a very good time. 20, 23.4, 25.4, 25.3. So here we have in the same race behind Oh What a Night, 4.5, 4.9 lengths behind, and this horse finished 1.2 lengths behind, and you'll see also a bit of a slow time there, 74.1. So, yeah, I think fly to Rio, a nice bet. Maybe if you want to take a small each way bet, number one, fly to Rio, definitely a horse that you can look at. Then I want to look at number 9. Now, if you look at the form of number 9, it is not really, it doesn't look good. But now, let's look at this. Richard for re-riding, not often for Paul Reeves. And this horse has done on his debut behind Carrot, 24.1. And I do feel that number 9, Real Joy, can definitely improve on its debut. Another horse that you need to look at is number 6, Chelsea River, a Ferrari by a fanatic Daimé. This horse debut behind brand new world. It's got Fanikak on board, Grant Fanikak, and he is riding really well at the moment. It says here slow start, race green. So also keep an eye out for this. I think this is also a horse that's going to be involved, can be involved in the finish. And then lastly, here we have number 4, Arundel, the second favorite, can also improve. Anton Marcus on board. 3 lengths behind Crown Diamond. But you see also slow 400 to finish, 25.7, 25.4. And guys, for me, one of the first things I look at before I make my selection is the 400 to finish, and I'm really concerned about the times that these horses are running. So I would think this first race maybe not a race to go big on. At 17 to 20, I won't be taking the 17 to 20. Although I did work out all to come where I included the favorite onto an all to come onto the second race, the favorite in the second race. Let's have a look at the second race, which is another maiden plate over 1200 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here we have number 1, Captain Daisy, 14 to 10. Mount Greylock, 14 to 10. 17 to 2, Picket Back, Ali, Burrow, 10 to 1, 10 to 1, Travel Miles, 20 to 1, and longer the rest. So let's have a look here. And here my first selection is to favorite number 1, Captain Dissy, captain of all. Now let's quickly have a look. This horse is run against exceptionally strong fields. Here we have Eric the Red, Inconceivable, 12 runs, 3 winners. Comedy Done, we all know it's 3 runs unbeaten, only 6.5 lengths behind. Irish Morning, already 2 winners from that race. And then last time just got run out of it by with all about L. Tried hard. You'll see yes, this horse has run a 23.8 in that race behind Inconceivable. But I do believe that number 1, Captain Dizzy's form is stronger than the previous race's favorite, and I think number 1, Captain Dizzy will go close. My outsider selections in this race is as follows. Number 7, Picket Back Alley. It's a flower alley by Elidor Me. This horse run well in his first race, and then last time, fluffed his lines a bit behind his choice. Awkward start, didn't quicken. But I think maybe give number 7, Picket Back Alley, another chance, because based on his debut run. But again, yeah, very slow, fast to 400 to finish runs. And you think I'll keep on hopping it, but for me, it's one of the pointers that I work on. Here we have number 9, West Coast Pirate, Grant van die Kerk on board. This horse doesn't look, the form doesn't look inspiring. But here it says make steady progress, and that is important to me. And I do feel that you can include this horse in your quartets and trifecta selections. We then move on to race number 3. Race number 3 is a fillies and mares 92 handicap over 1,000 meters, where we have the favorite, another strong favorite, number one Mirage at 70 to 10, Iris at 3 to 10, Uncapped Inside 4 to 1, Caribbean Sunset 4 to 1, II 6 to 1, and Dirty Nelly 14 to 1. Although we have a favorite at 17 to 10, I do feel that this race is a bit over, and I think there's a lot of horses, all of them have got chances in this race. We're working here with a Class B average rate in 87. We, as you can see, Mirage has run against much stronger Celtic Sea, Rolling Day, Queen of Alamo, and so forth. But that's not my first selection. My first selection is number 6, which is Iris, getting 6 kilograms from the top one. Also, Iris has also run some decent races that ran nicely around Kitty Cat Chat last time. Kitty Cat Chat that finished in a future. And I think we're on 54, Greg Chain on this horse for Candice Bass Robinson do have a realistic chance of winning this race, getting 6 kilograms from the top one. Yeah, 6 kilograms, let me just check. Yeah, 6.5 kilograms from Mirage. Then my outsider selection is race is number 5, which is AA. A also a horse that is maybe hasn't run in the same class, but always tries his best there and thereabouts. And I'm sure he's coming back off a small rest, but can also be involved in the finish. So then we move on to race number 4, which is another maiden plate over 1,400 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is as follows. Number 4, Forgetful Girl, 9 to 10, Go Lightly, 33 to 10, 7 to 1, Rosie Roan, 9 to 1, Princess of Winter, Mercy Buku, 15 to 1, Serious Fun, 15 to 1, and 20 to 1, Bulgaria Subterfuge, and After the Storm, scratch numbers 1 and 9. So here my first selection in this race is the favorite number 4, Forgetful Girl, as has got strong form. Forgetful Girl has been running a second and a third and a second in the last race, improving all the while. Master of My Fate, Los Copdola. If I'm not mistaken, Los Copdola did manage to win a few races. Again, Grant van Niekerk on board. And this horse also has been knocking on the door, running against some strong opposition. And since moving over the 1,400 meters, which I think is a distance that would suit her better, definitely in with a chance. My outsider selection is number 5, Rosie Roan, which in this race is not really a big outsider, but has also run a decent few races, or in 3 races. And I think the 1,300 plus the 400 meters will suit. And then lastly, my outsider selection is race is number 8, Subterfuge. This horse I've been looking at. He'd run a nice race behind uh, Rostropovich or whatever, and has been also been there knocking on the doors, and definitely a horse that can surprise at long odds. Um, but again, the 400 to finish concerns me. Although in his first race over 1,000 meters, this horse managed to run a 22.9, which is it is a relatively decent time. So let's move on to race number 5, which is a fillies and mares 80 handicap class C, average main rated 80. Race number 5. Here we have number 2, Silver Saber, 5 to 2, Major Attraction 3 to 1, So Flawless 4 to 1, Scented Mistress 7 to 1, Silver Maria 15 to 2, Amish Fun 17 to 2, Queen's Club 17 to 2, Queen 9 to 1, Kathleen 15 to 1. And here my selection, my first selection is number 3, Scented Mistress. I forgot, I wanted to show you something. Let me quickly see if I can get this quickly before taking up too much time. There's something I wanted to show you on why my selection is Scented Herb. Okay, let's quickly go to form grids. Sorry about this, I should have opened it before. I forgot to open it, but I won't take too long. because this, if you see this, you'll definitely understand why my selection is Scented Mistress. If you look at Scented Mistress last run, she ran behind Captain's Romance, 8 lengths behind Captain's Romance. But now you can see that that was a very strong race. Princess Kala, Chik Chang, Dazzling Sun, Zarina, all of them were previous winners of the races. Now, you see Princess Kala managed to finish third in the paddock stage behind Queen Supreme and Clouds Unfurled and beating Summer Pudding. So that strong, that form is really strong. And here's Chaching, who also placed in the paddock stakes. So in my mind, very strong. We'll just go back here quickly. So let's have a look here. Here we have Scented Herb number 3. Ran behind Captain's Ransom. And the horses behind her in that race. Let me just quickly show you. Was Princess Kala. They all finished in front of her. She only finished 8 lengths behind. But if you have a look, even here we have a winner from that race that finished in front of her. So this form for Scented Mistress, where Captain Ransom beat Princess Kala and Chat, which went on to be placed in a future race, as well as Dazzling Sun was also in that race, and then there's a winner, Ballroom Blues. Surely makes this form, a little bit outstanding. So therefore, my selection, number 3, Scented Herb. My outsider selection is number 5, So Flawless. This horse did one well last time out, beating Black Silver. That ran behind Silver Sabre, and now Silver Sabre is carrying 59. So Silver Sabre should finish in front of it, but I think number 4, Slow Flawless, this filly is improving, and I do feel that she can perhaps finish closer to Silver Sabre, who I'm not saying is not without a chance. My outside selection is Silver Maria, another Silvano, very well bred from Labenskraal. Did run well after the maiden, and this is the type of distance that this horse is, as I would think, this 1600 meters would actually be a minimum distance, which he would be looking for further. And here is the favorite number 2, Silver Sabre, who won well also, Silvano by Early Dawn May. Did one well over the 1600 meters last time, never let up, and obviously are in with a chance. But if another thing I just wanted to point out to you is that this is a Class C average merit rated 80. And if you have a look here where Scented Herb was running, she was running in an A Division 80, 100 and 81 there behind Ching. So I do feel, and she came from Natal, and she won a maiden and followed up a maiden at 12-1. And I do feel that number 3 Scented Herb, a strong runner in this race. Then we move on to race number 5, number 6, which is a fillies and mares 92 handicap over 1800 meters, Class B, average merit rated 88. And here the betting is number 3, Rattle Mouse, 3-1, Jacqueline 3-1, Rosaline 3-1, Flame Tree 9-2, Bold Diva 9-2, Smarty Pants 8-1, and Scratch number 2, Water Spirit. So that has been scratching since I last looked at this. So let's have a look at the betting, where my first selection is number 3 at race 6. My first selection is number 4, Jacqueline. Um, Jacqueline is a horse that has run against some decent opposition. Last time ran in the future behind Elusive Fortune, and I just feel based on that run that Jacqueline is can win this race. But obviously, the favourite Rattle Mouse is also can also be involved. But you can see that they Rattle Mouse carried 54 and a half, Jacqueline 52 and a half. So there were 2 kilograms between them now, 1.5. But Jacqueline managed to finish nearly 4 lengths in front of Elusive Fortune in that same race. And to my mind, Jacqueline can, definitely repeat that run. And although there is a difference of 1.5 kilograms, better off. I don't think that is not enough to turn around nearly 3 lengths, so nearly 4 lengths. So I'm sticking with number 4, Jacqueline. My outsider selection in this race is number 7, which is Rosalie Runs. I'm not really outsider, but I like the look of this horse. When she won the against Silver Tower, I did recommend it that day. And with Grant van Niekerk on board again, it looks like he got a few runs. Nice rides today. The horse ran on strongly from behind last time out, fastest 400 after losing 2 lengths. And I do feel 7 Rosary Runs also in with a huge chance. So let's get down to race number 7, which is a merit rate at 97 by the handicap. Class B, average merit rate at 91. And here the betting is as follows. Number 4, Mr. Cops 22 to 10, 53 to 1, no laying up. Mr. Vargas 92, Skidoo 4 to 1, Dragon Power 92, 16 to 1, Winter Flight, Brave Tiger 18 to 1. And here in race 7, my first selection is number 1. Number 1 did came out last time out after a rest and did win well, beating Green Jacket, Andy well judged. Mark was on board. This horse ran against some nice opposition in the future at Scottsville in July behind Tempting Fate. And I do feel that this horse can still improve. Number 1 laying up, therefore my choice to win race number 7. But also I think a big runner is number 3 Skidoo. This horse is always there and thereabouts. Has now got a turnaround with Mr. Cops in weight. There he was carrying 58 and Mr. Cop was carrying 55 and a half, which is 2.5 kilograms. Now it's only a half a kilogram for a 1.25 beating, and I feel that that brings number 3 Skidoo closer to number 4 Mr. Cops. Both of them sire What a Winter. Another What a Winter is number 5 Winter Flight, but unfortunately the form is not that strong. So that's my selection for race number 7. Let's move on to race number 8. And here my selection is a merit rate at 76 divided handicap over 1,000 meters. And here my selections is as follows. Number 3, the betting is as follows, sorry. Number 6, Waterman 3 to 1. Empress Degree 5 to 1. Cape of Storms 92. Baltimore Jacks 92. Fighter 6 to 1. Line of Power 8 to 1. Broman 16 to 1. Barry McGee 16 to 1. I did what I did 25 and 50 to 1. Will Scarlet. So just to confirm, we're running here Class D, average meter rate at 72. Here my selection is outsider number 3, Barney McGrew. Barney McGrew run over at 1,200 meters and was up there till the last bit and then faded. And I do think he might have just needed a run. And I think Barney McGrew today is going to run a huge race. You can see here we're working on a 72, class D72 that run in a C74 and a C80 before against some useful precision speed machine that was a future. And I think Barney McGrew today, a huge runner in this field. My outsider selections is number 7. That's Fighter. Paul Reeves, Grant van Niekerk. This was also run well behind Rail Columbia last time and was only run out of it late and also ran in a higher division behind Mr. Cops and Miss Millstream. And so this horse wasn't, has run a few fair runs after its maiden. And I think Fighter definitely in with a fighting chance in this race. And here we have number 10, my other outsiders release number 10, Line of Power, Greg Union and Greg's Chain combination. He doesn't run often for him, but when he does, he goes close. As you can see, only 50 runs, 2 wins, second, 2 first, and a fourth. This horse has also been running against some decent opposition, Matthew the King, Hail Columbia, Alaskan Knight, and I think from a 52 today might have a chance beating this field. And again, another Water Winter. So it seems there's a lot of Water Winters running today. So that brings us to the end of our meeting for Kenilworth. I hope I pointed you in the right direction. Let's have a look at the TURFFONTEIN pudding meeting, where we kick off with the first race over 2,600 meters. As I said today, there's no maiden plates. I'm looking forward quality horses that are racing today. So let's have a look at the racing today. The betting for race one is as follows. We kick off the day with a small field in 600 meters. And here we have the betting as follows. Captain Chorus 5 to 2, Fact 4 to 1, Brand New Cadillac 4 to 1, 92 Port Key, 5 to 1, Alquays, 5 to 1, Gold Driven, and Oyster King 25 to 1. And here my selections is as follows. I'm going to stick with number 1, Captain Chorus, which last time out it ran. And then I made it my best bet of the day, Captain Chorus number 2. And let's have a look there. And I think over today's distance of 2,400, Captain Chorus won't have a problem. This horse has developed into a nice stayer, running nice races, and was beaten by Alquays last time out. But I think Captain Chorus over this distance might be better over this distance. And my outsider selection, which is not actually outsider, 4 to 1 is number 1, Fact. Fact has also been running against some quality opposition here, beaten by Captain Chorus, and now running again. And I do feel that's maybe his last race was a bit of a shocker, but let's ignore that. Now today back over the longer distance, the Wyshaw Marvin or the Wire Marvin stable is in form. So number 1, Fact, definitely in with a chance. But there's a lot of horses with chances in this race. Well, most of them Brand New Cadillac has won 2 races in a row. Alquays did win last time out 2 runs ago against Nike, but then didn't do so well behind Fallings behind Salahai. Has run over longer distances, but we'll have to see if he can stay the 2,600 meters. Gold Griffin is definitely one of the horses that will be there when the photos are taken. All he's a stayer, ran well behind Captain Chorus last time out. Although this horse has got this ability, this thing of jumping slow, always have to come from behind. Port Key came back from a long rest and is slowly but surely getting there. And I'm sure we'll be in the winner's box one of these days, if not today, but I have to find a few links on Captain Chorus. So let's move on to race number 2. Race number 2 is a Guinea's Day Fair Military 92 handicap for 3-year-olds. Nice classy field. Class B average merit rated 84. Let's have a look here at the betting. Number 1, Tide 5 to 2. Namib Deserts 3 to 1. Bathori 50 and Solus 5 to 1. Purple Panther 7 to 1. Back to Black 7 to 1. And number 1, 8 Lord 10 to 1. Yeah, my first selection is number 5, Namib Desert. This horse is so well bred. I can't, I can't help but to go with this horse because of the breeding. He did one well last time out, behind Double Martin, came from behind and went past and stuck to his gun and managed to win the race. And I do feel Namib Desert definitely in a huge chance in this race. Then for my outsider section, going for number 6, Solus. This was also won well on his maiden, and I'm thinking that the 1600, the 1500 meters. Please, guys, yeah, I forgot to mention that this is today is on the inside track. So you have to be careful today that there's a, they haven't run on the inside track for a while now. So the chances of upsets are always on the board, and they're running a few races over 1500 meters, which is not a usual distance. I won't say it's an unusual distance, but most of the time they either go 1400 or 1600 meters. Now today it's a 1500 meters, which is a bit of a, which is another distance. But Solus, I think, won't have a problem on the 1500 meters. But there is also nice chances in this race. I think on the Eight Lord is also a horse you can always, his last two runs were really bad. But the Cornet piece, you never know. They run a bad race now, next time they come out, they win. And the way the thing that for, here he ran on the inside track on the 21st of November over 1600 meters. Came from behind and he won. Oh man, he came out on the outside and he went past him like they were looking for, like they all were stopping, beating Dr. Doolittle, who's no donkey himself. But then was beaten again by Dr. Doolittle. But the thing is, this horse has only run 4 times on this track for a win and a third. So Eight Lord also a horse that you might want to include into your play. But Thor Dooley also has a chance based on the race behind Catch 22. And that was the uh, I don't know which, I can't remember which was it, but it was a very strong race. Catch 22 won quite easily. Purple Panther has run a few nice races, but the last two races not that good. Type 5, obviously, very well bred for the lads, was quite a good mare, and has run well, but against a little bit strong, lesser opposition. Hottentots Holland, not really a world beater, and again also behind Ice Lord, not a very strong field, but definitely in with a chance. So let's move on to race number 3, which is a minute 88 handicap, also over 1500 meters, and let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is number 3, number 2 against the grain, 33 to 10, crank it up 33 to 10, 5 Oscar Wilde, 6 Oscar Wilde 5 to 1, Storm Commander 6 to 1, Diorama 8 to 1, Royal Escape 9 to 1, 10 to 1, Samurai Jack, Wiley Wins 14, Wakas 14, and Dan the Lad 18 to 1. And here of my selection, I went for a horse down at the bottom, number 10. And my my selection is based on the fact that this horse is only carrying 49 and a half. And he has run against some of the horses in this race, Crank It Up and Oscar Wilde. And I'm not going to sit now and do all the sums for you, but of course I've done that. And based on the weight turnarounds, this horse has got a beating on all of them because of the fact that he's only carrying 49 and a half. Therefore, number 10, Storm Commander, in my eyes, has got a huge chance in this race to beat the more fancied runners. And then my outsider selections is as follows. Number 7 is Samurai Jack. Did run well, beat Carton Dancer, and then last time behind Stormy Winter, but also getting the -2.5, which would put him also in this race, but didn't run well in the race behind the eight Lord. But yeah, definitely in with outsider chance, as is number 8 Royal Escape, also carrying 55, Muzi Yeni for Candace Dawson. This horse has come from a race from 21 of November, was also in that same race behind the Eight Lord, but now carrying a much less weight against the Eight Lord. So based on that, should have the beating of the Eight Lord. And since I do like the Eight Lord, then definitely number 8 Royal Escape also comes into the reckoning. Muzi Yeni also riding quite well in the moment. So that then move on to race number 4, which is the Fillies and Mares 88 handicap over 1500 meters for 3-year-old fillies. The betting as follows. Um, Number 1, Magical Flight 22 to 10, Roa 6 to 1, Swiss Bank 13 to 2, 13 to 2, Phoenix Perfect Angel 8-1, 8-1 Afternoon Tea, Sacred Lotus 11-1, 14-1 Toto and Better. So also a very, very interesting race, a nice race. Lots of horses of chances. And here my selection is number 7, which is Roa. Now Roa did win her last race and it won so easily, and so they say came out and won also easily. But the big thing is this horse is getting -2.5, only carrying 52.5, and he went start to finish under 1400 meters, although in a work riders. But I'm sure that that was not it was a useful field, although it was work riders. But if you have a look at Sweet Future, it's also a horse that has won again. The race behind Lady Nietzsche, already 2 winners from that. This race 1 from 1, it's now 2 from 2 behind Roa. So definitely, I think Roa in have a huge chance. In my outsider selections is as follows. Number 6 is Phoenix. This horse won so well on the debut, also beating a strong field, I think, and then ran behind Tartan Dancer. But I feel over the 1500 today from draw 1, Kumara do have a chance. Then my other outsider selection is number 3, which is Toto. The Toto also from an informed stable, getting some nice winners. Michael Azzi led us straight by Trippy Me, right in Africa. Did run in the future last time out and did fluff a lunch but before that run some decent races against some decent horses, and I think can be involved in a finish. Let's quickly have a look here. The favorite, number 1, Magical Flight, did beat Castle Jarrow easily, and then ran second to Iron Katy Perry, and certainly not without a chance again can go in again today. But it's definitely not race over a few horses with chances. Another horse that I haven't spoke about is number 4, Swiss Bank. Swiss Bank also won a nice race last time out, but in a very, very lower division. It's now running here in 81 and won this race, won a 66, so much up in class, but also a horse that looks like it can win a few races. Perfect Angel did win and then was ran third behind Little Rain. But in this class, so also a horse that can surprise Brian Yahoo on board. So all in all, a bit of an open race. This race number 4. So let's move on to race number 5, which is on a graduation plate over 1200 meters. Let's have a look at the betting, and here the betting is as follows. Number 2, Spring Break 16 to 10, Portico 18 to 10, Farms Up 7 to 2, Midnight Caller 11 to 2, Informative 14 to 1, 25 to 1, and longer the rest. Now here in this field, race 5, my selection is number 1, Portico. Portico is a horse that has run some decent races. It's been ran an exceptional race behind No Breeze, which is now finding itself overseas competing. And if you have a look here at the form, 8 runners, 2 winners, 6 runners, 1 winner, 11 runners, 4 winners, 9 runners, 2 winners, 10 runners, 2 winners. Has a run against exceptionally strong fields. Also sent by Destiny Winter Stories, no donkeys. And I think today in this graduation plate really is a race made for this horse. And I think number 1, Portico, huge runner in this race. Outside the selections, I'm going to go for number 5, Informative. Now let's just quickly want to see. Yeah, she is out a bit on the weights, number 5, but has been running decent races. And I'm because of GENIE on board, full match it. I think this horse is going to box above her weight today and can also be involved in the finish. The other favorite in this race is number 2, Spring Break. Also has done some decent races, not without a chance, but surely not a banker in this field. And another horse that can be involved in the finish is number 3, Thumbs Up. Has also been running decent races, can be involved, but is also in the handicap rated third in the handicap behind number 1 and 2. And then as you can see, it is another horse, Clock Stopper. Now, unfortunately, yeah, if you can afford, put Clock Stopper in your play. It's carrying a low weight while Mawing is informed. You remember there was one of the ambulance race, and then the race was cancelled. But you know, she sometimes she managed to run a good race because it doesn't look like she can put two good races in a row together. But it might be that today is the day that she can put it together with a little bit of a lightweight. Then we move on to race number 6, which is a merit rated 96 handicap over 1200 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here we have the favorite number 1, 0085 Battle of Trafalgar 28 to 10, All of Me 6 to 1, Rock the Globe 6 to 1, Risk Taker 7 to 1, Alzara 11 to 2, 14 to 1, and Better to Rest. One can't help to feel that number 1, double eight, is the selection here in race number 6. Definitely, I think we have a very good chance. Really won well last time out in a high division in 94. Now running against in a 94, so it's the same division and won by 3 lengths. So probably would try and follow the same. But remember that this is now on the inside track, and this horse is drawn 8, so it will have to come from the outside. This horse has run a second and 2 firsts on the inside track. A horse that I really like in today in this inside track is All of Me, because All of Me is also running has also been running against some decent opposition. But if you have a look here, course and distance 3 runs, 1 win and 2 seconds with Pierce Stradham on board, and I think All of Me, a serious runner in this field today, and definitely not to be discarded. Hasn't won for 321 days, but I think if you have a look here, has been running against horses like Celtic Sea and Galactic Warrior. So I think All of Me, the biggest danger is to number 1, 8 Lord. Outside of selection that you want to maybe look at is number 4, Risk Taker. Risk Taker hasn't run against the same kind of opposition, but is also a horse who's always there and thereabouts, and definitely inclusion into your quartet. And my other outsider selection is number 10, Tallinn. I think this horse can also improve. Ran 7 innings behind double eight, and there is a weight turnaround, so can get closer. Also, in pop into your quartets, the back into your quartets and trifectas. We then move on to race number 7, which is the Sea Cottage Stakes. This race is also a race rich with history. A lot of good horses has won the Sea Cottage Stakes, and I think today won't be any difference. We have running over the 1800 meters class A, average mean rate at 92. Here we have the betting as follows. Number 1, Al Mutahana 5 to 2, second base 4 to 1. Shah Akbar 11 to 2, Baymax 11 to 2, Dr. Doolittle 7 to 1, Narki 7 to 1. Give me the go ahead 11 to 1, Bold Jazz 12 to 1, F Squadron 22 to 1, 25 to 1, Foreign Field. Now here in race number 7, my first selection is as follows. Number 3, I'm going to go for this with Korari by Galileo Me. Did one well last time out. When start to finish on its own pace. Was never seen beaten Narki by 4 lengths. I see that Mr. Dr. Doolittle has beaten it before. And now today they're carrying this the same way as where Dr. Doolittle was carrying 3 kilograms more. But I do feel that Shah Akbar is maybe maturing and definitely, I think, hard to beat in this race. Obviously, Dr. Doolittle is a horse that you need to put into your play. Definitely in with a chance. My outsider selections is number 5. Give me the go ahead. This give me the green light by Spectrum Me. That also run well behind the Brassway last time out. I did tip it that day. He did win. It was one of my each way selections. Came from behind the Brassway, and really won well, going away from the field. Now, if you want to have a look here, you'll see that Shah Akbar has run in an 84, and this race was a 74, so it was in a lower division, but has run a decent race behind Bold Jazz, and as you can see, also second behind Tree Dumbo. Tree Dumbo, not a donkey, has won some decent races. I think was also placed in the big race in November, the Summer Handicap. In my other outsider selection is number 6, Baymax. Baymax has won 2 races in a row. It's elusive forward. This stallion is a stallion that has really surprised me with the quality horses that is thrown. And I think Baymax also a horse that needs to be included in your play today. Also in with a chance. Here we have number 7, Montana. Um, Personally, I think this horse is overrated. Um, uh, it is the favorite, has beaten the breeze, but will have to improve, and we'll have to see how the Son of Deepfield goes over the 1800 meters, but not in my selections today. Number 8, Nazi, also flattered to deceive, that won a nice race beating Castle Corner, what was then beaten by Arquois and Shah Akbar. But there is a turnaround in wage with Shah Akbar, but it was beaten by 4 lengths. And I think it's not about a chance. If your budget can afford, you can include it. So let's move on to race number 8, which is Phyllis Amaze handicap 75 over 1800 meters. Let's have a look at the betting here. Number 8, pin up 33 to 10. Vicorana 4 to 1, Traveling Wilbury 4 to 1, 7 to 1, Eliminate, Only the Brave 9 to 1, Emmeline 10 to 1, 16 to 1, Encore or 15 to 1, Twice the Act, and Longer the Rest. I just want to mention a horse here at the bottom, number 14, Missouri, 33 to 1. And then I want to take you because number 14, Missouri, is my first selection in this race. This horse is only carrying 49 and a half. This horse, I think, can't remember the day that he's carrying 21 and a half. This horse used to be, I just want to show you, this horse used to be a 99. It's now a 61. It's down, over 50, uh, um, 50 pounds. Made rating drop by over 50 points. And Mazzari um, always come from behind, but I think with the lightweight today, this jockey from draw 9 will be able to place this horse. And I really do feel that Mazzari today can run a huge race for Cornet Peace. Hasn't won in 387 days. And last time I remember it also won a huge prize. And the thing with Mazzari, it's never far behind 5 lengths, 3 lengths. Here she's behind Pin Up, 3.75 lengths. Now, Pin Up, one of the favorites. Now, if you have a look here, she ran 3.7 lengths behind Pin Up, getting 3.5 kilogram. Now, Pin Up is the favorite in this race. This horse is now carrying 49 and a half. So let's move up to Pin Up. Pin Up is carrying 60. So there's now a 11 kilogram turnaround in the weights. Now there's 11 kilogram in the weights, and it's 11 and a half. Sorry, guys, sorry, it's 10 and a half minus the 3.5. So that's a 7 kilogram turnaround for a beating of 3.7 points. That is a huge turnaround. So I think with this weight today, Mazzari is surely, I'm going to try and get the 33 to 1 as early because I think a few people, punters, is going to realize that this horse is in with a huge chance today, number 14, Mazzari. And even if the horse doesn't win on 33 to 1, I'll take my chances any day, no problem. Then my other outsider selections for this race is number 5, which is Verocana versus Gettery's Filly by Captain L. I think this horse has also run some decent races after the maiden, drawn 1 today, has won on the inside track over 1450, and yeah, of course, run 2 runs, 1 win, 1 second, and I think number 5 also a huge runner in this race. And then my other outsider selection is number 6, Only the Brave. Did run behind Water Fatina in a very strong race, and it is bred well. Spring Garden by Rambo Downs, nicely bred. Woozy from draw 2. I think number 6, Only the Brave, can also be involved in the finish. So as I said, here's the favorite, number 1, Pin Up, and In Court. In Court didn't run well after the maiden, and number 1, Pin Up, did win last time out, but there's got a huge turnaround with Mazzari, and I think that might be, and also not drawn well. Yeah, definitely it's going to think a battle for number 1, Pin Up, to win this race. So let's move on to race number 9, which is the last race of the card of the day. It's the merit rated 84 handicap over 1200 meters, and the betting as follows. Number 5, the contractor 19 to 10, Fitzwilliam 4 to 1, Pigeon Rock 8 to 1, Rock of Africa 8 to 1, Written in Stone 8 to 1, Liquid 8 to 1, Trent Master 10 to 1, Convenity 10 to 1, and 18 to 1, and longer the rest. Here my first selection is number 2, which is Voice of Africa. If you're pitching up, you can see it's a Class C, average mid rate in 80. Number 2, Rock of Africa, did one C Division 82 and then ran again well in another 82 behind Secrets of Maya, strong race that, and then also against Oscar Wilde. And I think that this jockey, who won with him last time, number 7, Rock Africa, definitely going to have a huge chance in this race today, repeating. If she can repeat her last, if he can repeat his last 2 run, definitely in with a huge chance in this field. My other outsider selection is number 6, Written in Stone, Pierce Tradham on board. This horse also runs well, always there and thereabouts, 5 lengths behind Fitzwilliam today. But now today, a little bit of a turnaround in the weights. If you want to have a look here, Fitzwilliam now carrying 60, and Written in Stone carrying 58.5, so it's 1.5 kilogram. Last time out, it was just a half a kilogram, so it's getting a little bit. Was also beaten by Rock of Africa, has got a turnaround on that now as well. That will also bring him closer to Rock of Africa. So definitely, I think Written in Stone, the horse have a serious chance in this race. My other outsider selection is number 8, Liquid. The one is made in last time out, beating Sunny Quinn, but did it well, but did get the -4 from Peters on board, but no -4 today. But I do feel that Soft Falling Rain won a nice race and can be involved in the finish again. So all in all, guys, I think in the nice days of racing lying in front of us today, and I hope I could point you in the right direction and give you a few winners. And as I always say, break a leg.